Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm MK,
And I'm Courtney.
and this is our 450th episode of the podcast, so you would think I would know how to talk by now, and apparently I do not.
That's so exciting. You didn't tell me that before we recorded.
I didn't.
That's,
Um,
I thought you were going to say it's the 450th episode today, because it also is.
that is also true. How are you?
Um, I'm sleepy. I'm good. I was just moving my coffee up so I could reach it better. Um, I'm good. I'm tired. I'm not sleeping right. I'm busy all the time, I feel like,
Yeah.
which feels crazy. I have no desire to work and I need to work, but it's fine. It's fall. I don't know when this comes out,
Yeah.
because I don't have the sheet in front of me. But if it's not fall when this comes out, it is fall.
No,
Don't
it
question
this will come out September 21st. So
it. It's fall. Today is fall.
today
Happy
is
today.
happy today as well.
Yes, happy today is fall. I've been ready for fall for a month now. Um, I have had two pumpkin spice lattes.
Um, our heat kicked on last night. It got cold
I'm
enough that
so
it got cold
jealous.
enough. I woke up this morning and Dan goes, "Did you know the heat went on last night?" It
I
got cold.
am
Yeah.
sitting in AC right now. Like all of my friends in New York are like, "Oh my gosh, it hit 40," and I'm like, "I would stab you all." I'm
Yeah. No, I
so
mean, it's
jealous.
it's like 80 degrees right now, but it's at that perfect
Right.
time where it like goes actually gets colder overnight, and apparently
I'm
it
so
hit low
upset.
enough that I mean
Like,
the high for Saturday is 64.
mm, just tell me. Like, my high for Saturday is 90. Like, it is no good. So I am, the outside is not fall, but in my heart, it's fall all the time.
Yeah.
Um, so I've had two pumpkin spice lattes. I have had both the pumpkin muffin and the cinnamon muffin. Real good if you haven't had the cinnamon croissant muffin thing yet.
Okay, I have
Um,
not, but it's because I usually sorry, ignore the fall menu because I don't like pumpkin spice and they never have anything.
yeah,
They everything for fall is pumpkin or chai and I don't like either.
yeah.
So I just wait till November 1st when I can get my Christmas flavors.
Yeah, I am very particular about what chai I like. I don't like Starbucks. It's way too sweet. Um, but like I just get the pumpkin. I'm not a huge pumpkin spice fan, but
Yeah.
it's just fall. I just needed it because everyone else was having it.
Yeah.
And I just get like way less sweet. I just remove a lot of the syrup. But I do like the pumpkin spice muffins a lot because they don't, I mean, it's kind of like their pumpkin bread, but with cream cheese. And so I love that. And then the cinnamon apple, I hate their cinnamon apple drinks, but their cinnamon apple croissant is dope. Um,
Okay.
and then PJ's is doing a pumpkin pie latte and a bananas foster latte. So I've now tried both of those. I have gift cards to all these places. So like, I'm not just spending hundreds of dollars a week at Starbucks. Um, and I haven't actually spent any money there in a while. Um,
That's nice.
and I have my flannel on. I have my sister conned my family into doing a fantasy football, which I knew was going to be tragic, and it is. Like, she's texting me Friday at work, and she's like, "I want to do fantasy football," and I was like, "Cool, cool, find new friends." Like, I'm
Yeah.
in two leagues. I'm not trying to do a third. And then she's just like literally incessantly texting me, so I just stopped responding. I was
Yeah.
like, "You'll stop talking to me eventually." And then my dad calls me while I'm like, it's like 5:30, 5:45. So I'm already not happy that I'm still at work on Friday.
Yeah.
Um, and he's like, "You know, your sister's just gonna keep texting us if we don't do this." And I don't think you understand that everyone has had their draft set for like a month. Like we picked when
Yeah.
we were doing our draft, not the day of like not the week of football.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it this year, obviously because it's so late and because the summer was so busy, I didn't have time to like set it up or like invite people or anything. But I'm only in the one league because it's Dan's family's league, but I
Mhm.
want to do one that is like my friends. So like I want to
See,
do one that's like I mean, but like I want Dan to be in it and I would like have like
sure.
Jake I would have like Doug and Jake and Dan in it too, but like I want it like you and Jill. Like I want it basically I
Yeah.
want my wedding party to be a fantasy
To have
football
a
league.
fantasy football draft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd be down for that. But like, and my
But I
dad
also
knows.
wouldn't tell you to do it for this year right now.
You can call me on
I'm telling
Friday.
you now, September 1st, 2025, that next season I would like to have a fantasy league with
Right.
you.
That is how you ask someone to join your fantasy league. Because that is also when Shane asked me to join his fantasy league was at the end of last season.
Right.
And so like these are the times you ask me. Because Shane also asked me this week to join another league. And I was like, no, stop talking to me. Everyone stop asking me to join your leagues. But yeah, so then my dad's calling me and I'm like, fine. He's like, I'm not doing it unless you're doing it. I was like, I don't want to do it. He's like, well, you know we have to do it. I'm like, that is not what you've just said to me. those are those are not the same sentiments.
No.
And I was like, fine. And he's like, I was like, but we have to do the draft like this weekend because football starts next week. And he's like, well, let's just do it tonight then. I was like, I can't do it tonight. I have my reading marathon tonight. like, I'm not foregoing that because you
Yeah.
guys decided today you wanted to have a fantasy league. And he's like, well, what about tomorrow? I was like, also not tomorrow. I was like, we can do Sunday. I had a lot of meetings on Saturday, and I have
Yeah.
another draft on Saturday. And so I was like, we could do Sunday at 1. That is when I'm available for you to do a draft, which
Otherwise,
almost
we're
wasn't
done.
true because I woke up at 3 a.m. on the dot Sunday morning and was up until 8 a.m. So then I slept until like 12:40. So it also almost wasn't true. But I was like, so now I'm in 3 leagues this year. And my dad hasn't watched football in ages. So he's like, I want Joe Burrow for a quarterback because he played for LSU. And I was like, cool, you can have him.
Yeah.
No fight
No
there.
one's fighting you on that one.
Yeah. And my sister like doesn't know football but wants to pretend like she does. So like what was it? What were we talking about? Um Something came up and it was just like most generic comment she made like she was teaching us something. And I don't remember what it was now. It may have been like that like you have a like a defense and she tried to explain us what defense was and I was like, what is happening right now? Like, why are we doing this today? And so, as I've said, I've just woken up and we started this draft.
Right.
And so then my sister's trying to FaceTime me, and I'm like, I can't FaceTime you on the phone that I'm doing a draft on. Like, that is not how that works. And so I tried to call her back, and then she didn't answer, and I was like, fine. So then my dad is not picking because he doesn't know how this works. No
Right.
one's taught him. She's just convinced him we're going to do this. And they tried to do it on the Yahoo app, the Yahoo Fantasy League, and I was like, no, ESPN are not in. Like,
Yeah.
I won't be doing the ESPN app.
The Yahoo one's really complicated.
Yeah, we did it the very first year I did draft. We did it on Yahoo, and then we were like, never again. But all of my leagues are on ESPN. I'm not about to switch back and forth between apps. Like,
Right.
this is the spot I'm doing it on. If you want to do it, I will do it with you. And then she's like, if you don't want to host, I'll host. No, I don't want to host. I don't even want to do this league. And so then he's like telling me all of this, and he's like, yeah, you just like get a team and then you just let it go. And I was like, no, people get hurt. Like you're constantly switching things or your team loses. Like, and I was just like, you people are driving me up the
I
wall.
mean, you're gonna have a really easy time beating him when he doesn't touch his team all
Well,
season.
no, because
Well,
he accidentally drafted Jamar Chase. And I was like, you don't even know who that is. Like, this is what I'm dealing with. And so I was like, we
Jamar
also have like,
Jamar Chase is Dan's keeper for our league.
as he should be. Like,
Right.
my dad's like, I have some Chase. And I kept saying Jamar Chase. And he's like, what are you saying? And I was like, Jamar Chase. He's like, oh, Chase. Let's just say their last names. I don't know their first names. I cannot with this year. So I'm now in Shane's league, which is like
Right.
friend group people.
Yeah.
And I have named that league Hail Marys and Headphones
Okay.
because I have Josh Allen on there and it's like Haley's song Hell Knows and Headphones.
Yeah.
No one gets it, but I don't care because they all have names about being drunk. So
Yeah.
I'm just doing my own thing. I have now named I got Lamar Jackson for the family league. And so I've named my team I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, as you do.
Yeah.
I know that's like the cliche one this year, but I did it anyways.
Yeah.
And then what did I for my other one, the Lemons League? Oh gosh, it's this one was probably the best name. Let me go look at it. That was also a wild draft because like first of all, one of the there's so many people that I'm like, why are you here? What are we doing? my girl
Right.
Ashley, who I really like her, like nothing against her as
Yeah.
a person. Um, huge Kansas City's fan. Like, if her entire team could be Kansas City, it would be.
Yeah.
Which is not how you play fantasy football, but it would be how she played it.
Yeah.
She had auto draft set up because was sick, and so she had like gone to sleep, and so her auto draft kicked in. And then she gets back in the chat the next day, and she's like, how do I switch out some of my players? A lot of them are hurt. Yeah, because a lot of the players that are good are hurt right now. I don't know why. I have three people questionable on my bench for this week. Um, and she's like, uh, I was like, I think you can drop them or you can claim. I was like, I don't know if you do it today because we did our draft last night. But
Yeah.
I was like, if you wait a couple days, you can drop them and grab somebody else. And she was like, it won't let me draft. It won't let me drop Lamar. And I was like, Lamar Jackson. And she was like, yeah. I was like, I can take him off your hands. Like, you want me to have Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson on my team?
Right.
And I'm like, who do you want instead? Like, what is your alternative? Like, she's just, there's just so many things that, and then Dom immediately messaged me like separately and was like, I don't understand what she's doing. I was like, me either, but I'm happy to take Lamar off her hands if
Yeah.
it makes her feel better. Um, so just having some really unhinged, like, draft weekend, but I'm real ready. All to say, I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for
Yes.
football. First game's Thursday. Can't wait. I did get Barkley in the family league. I didn't get him anywhere else, obviously, because I picked Josh Allen instead.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, and then I got Barkley in my home league. But oh, I was telling you the name of my team. I was like,
Oh
what am
yeah,
I
yeah,
doing?
yeah.
Oh, all dash en all in for TDs and chaos because I have both Josh Allen and Keenan Allen on that team.
Nice.
So
I
that's
don't
my
I do have Lamar Jackson on my team, and I really am tempted to name my team Things Will Not Calm Down, Dr. Jackson.
things will not calm down, Dr. Jackson.
They will in fact calm up, but that's too long.
I don't know. I was like, I don't even know if you can get that in there.
No, I know. But I'm like,
But
I
that would
need
be really
I
fun.
need a good teal quote that says Daniel's name in it, and then I will be my
Yes.
that'll be, and I'm in a league with Dan's like family who will have no
Yeah.
idea what it's about.
Is Doug in that league?
Mm-mm. This is
Mm.
like all Dan's cousins and stuff.
Mm. Mm. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to have your bridal party league. That'll be
Yeah.
fun. Um, but yeah, so how are you? Sorry, I've been on a rant
It's
about this.
okay.
These
Yeah.
drafts were wild.
It's okay. My draft is still not until Wednesday. Football starts on
That
Thursday.
is so insane. I forgot about that. You should really yell about football all episode because that's where you're sending me right now.
Yeah, no. But between now and that draft, I start school again. So like,
Yay, what a week. And it's
what a
Monday.
week.
Today's Monday. For
Today
those of
is
you who don't
Monday.
know.
And today is Monday. I I downloaded a new app um called Jam Family Calendar so that I can actually know what the F is happening with mine and Dan's life all the time. And
Mhm.
it's like really cute, but it's also really stressful because, like, for instance, this is tomorrow. We're both at work all day,
Yeah,
which is fine. That's just normal work, right? But then
sure.
tomorrow evening, I have work again and he has rehearsal. Wednesday, we both, luckily, it's the same because we have our fantasy
It's the same
draft.
time, yeah.
Well, because it's the fantasy draft, so we're doing it together.
Oh, sure.
But then, like, Thursday, whoop, there we go. That's both us
Mhm.
again. And Friday, oh, Friday is his brother's birthday, so that's different. But like, there was one day that he was like, that is so stressful to look at.
We
And
did that when I was in law school, and it was my second year. It was me and Nick and Rachel had a shared calendar, and it was stressful to look
yeah.
at.
But this one is nice because like you can it's like a family calendar, so you can also like
Mhm.
add kids and everything, and
Yeah,
but then you can when you set kids, you can set like kids and adults are set differently, so like kids can't edit the calendar without permissions.
that's how the one we used. I couldn't tell you which one we used, but that's how it was. It had
Uh,
like kid settings and stuff on it too.
Yeah, but like this one, it also has like you can add who's supposed to be driving. So like if it's like when we do have kids and they have soccer practice, I can mark that Dan needs to know that because he has to drive or I
That's
have to drive
amazing.
and you can put like locations in it and everything. And so like but you can also add like your to-do list and your grocery list right on the app.
Hmm.
So I really appreciated it, and I downloaded it yesterday so I can like try to be a real person. But then because I downloaded it and I looked at my calendar for September, it made me really, really stressed.
You should download alternatively Focus Friend. That's the new Hank Green app that everyone's talking about. Rachel told me about it.
Yeah.
And are you familiar?
No.
So it's this little bean, and you can name I named him Rowan Atkinson because
Okay.
I'm just
I
in a
love it.
naming theme
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah.
Uh, and you turn on like a focus timer. It's for ADHD people, and he knits while you focus. And so as long as you like stay focused, the longer he knits. And then you can trade in his like creations for like decorations for your house.
Yeah,
And like,
that would not be helpful to me because I tried Finch. I had that bird for so long and then I just stopped giving a shit.
well, this one like, but this one is like you can do deep focus mode, and so like you can't access your phone. The only problem is you also can't listen to your phone, and so like I had to put it on regular focus mode, um, and just leave it on the screen instead of so I could still listen to my book while I was working. Um, but if you're not listening to your phone, you can put deep focus mode on, and it won't let you access your phone until you're done with your timer.
Yeah, but that's not really my issue isn't focus, it's that I'm too busy. Like on my
Yeah.
calendar, literally that day that you're trying to come up here for the Ravens game, or not the Ravens
Mhm.
game, the Saints game, that's
Mhm.
the only day I don't have something going on for the entire month.
And you might if I win tickets.
Right. So like it's just it's not that I can't focus. It's
Mhm.
that I don't have enough time to do the things that I need to do.
Yeah, mine is both. Mine is a healthy mix of both.
Yeah. I mean, I do get distracted, but really not that badly. Only thing that distracts me is sleep, and I don't get to do that at work.
Yeah, I'm not good at that part.
But yeah, so I go back to school tomorrow. It's going to be really stressful. I teach six classes, um, and I don't want to. Um, Because I didn't even tell you this. Did I tell you that we got? No, I didn't because I haven't seen you since then. We got lectured basically about the fact that like some schools in the area have not actually been giving service hours to their all of their ENL kids, particularly the ones that are special ed ENL crossover, because their schedules are impossible to deal with. But we basically got told that that was not acceptable, which to be fair, legally it's not. Um,
Sure.
but so now all three of us have to take on a sixth class, which on the one hand means I don't have to do study halls, I don't have to do lunch duty, I don't have to do after schools,
Oh,
anything like all of that's, which is
that's
great.
nice.
It's great, but it also means I have to teach six classes.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
So it'll be great. It'll be fine. So that's
Got this though.
yeah. So before we get into this episode, can you give me some words to make this all better?
I can. I have over 17 apps since I pulled it up, so give me one moment to go back to it. Um, Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. Desmond Tutu.
Love it. So today we are going to talk about Stargate Atlantis, season one, episode six, Childhood's End. It was rated 7.2 stars, and it came out on Friday, August 13th, so I have absolutely nothing new to share about the day.
Friday the 13th,
Yes.
which is
Um,
lovely, but too.
yeah, it's great. It was directed by David Winning. Um, that is new. I see the look on your
Okay.
face. He is known for, are you ready for this? He is known for Van Helsing, Stargate Atlantis, and Turbo, a Power Rangers movie.
That's amazing.
It's
That
amazing.
is so
I
incredible.
also, when I got my hair done with Monica on Saturday, learned a fun fact about Van Helsing.
Mhm.
Van Helsing was filming at the same time as Phantom of the Opera, the movie, and
Mhm.
Hugh Jackman was originally who they wanted for the Phantom of the Opera part, and he could have gotten it, but he turned it down due to the fact that it was filming Van Helsing at the same time. So Van Helsing is why Hugh Jackman was not the Phantom.
But look at him now. He should have done Phantom. That would have been a better role for him.
It would have. But then
I mean, I guess
also,
Van Helsing probably sent him off into like Wolverine world, huh?
right. But I
But
also, I go, I think Monica said that, and then I go, that's not fair because Hugh Jackman over Gerard Butler, like, come on. And then I go, yeah, but I love Van Helsing.
I I don't think I've seen Van Helsing, or if I have, it's
Mm,
been a really long time.
yeah,
Um, and I mean, I enjoyed Gerard Butler well enough as the Phantom, but just like how much I've seen of Hugh Jackman in musical stuff, I would
yeah,
have loved to see as the Phantom.
yeah. Gerard Butler just can't sing. Like, the Phantom was
Yeah.
fine. He just can't
Mhm.
sing. Um, so David Winning was born in Calgary, but he is now a dual citizen of the US and Canada. Um, he started directing like with his friends and stuff when he was 10, but he directed his first real film at 22, with only $50,000 of his own money.
Who has $50,000 of their own money?
I don't know. Somebody who
Not me.
saves, not me, but somebody
Mhm.
who saves a lot and knows that this is what they want to do. Like,
Sure.
and fun fact, he directed an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark that featured the character that inspired M. Night Shyamalan to write The Sixth Sense.
You know, I really need to go just like watch Are You Afraid of the Dark? I was too
Yeah.
afraid as a kid, so I
Yeah,
never watched
same.
it.
I like watched like one or two episodes and then was like, nope, no thank you, never
Maybe
again.
I'll try and watch it this. Maybe that'll be my October event. Like, there's not a
Mm.
world where I'm gonna make it 31 movies in 31 days. Like, we're not even there yet. And I know that's not gonna happen this year.
Right.
But maybe that could be my spooky event that I do on social media
Maybe.
and read
He
Goosebump books. That'd be
yeah.
fun. Oh, how nostalgic. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I've
He
got
also
plans.
he has over 100 awards from a variety of different film and television award like festivals and things like that. So like he's got it going on. This
Yeah.
episode, it was written by Martin Darrow and edited by Brad Rhymes. Um, our guest is Dominic Zamprogna. That is quite the name. I was afraid I was going to say it wrong. Um,
Who's
which
to say you didn't?
he put, yeah, right. He plays Ares, because the kid who plays Karis, we've already talked about.
Who is he? I recognize his face and I didn't know
Yeah,
anyone.
so he
Okay.
he he played the lieutenant who took who in this remember the episode of Stargate SG-1 that you hated because it was about the kids that we didn't really care about and then they all died, but then that one came back and worked with the team for like one mission. It was
Yeah.
him. It was him.
Okay. I thought he was from that episode, and then I was like, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah, no, no, no. So that
Okay.
was him. So we have already talked about him. But so Dominic Impragna plays Ares. He is known for Tin Star, Battlestar Galactica, and General Hospital. He is a General Hospital guy. He's been in over 1,600 episodes of General Hospital.
I didn't even know they had that many episodes. I mean, it makes sense,
Yeah.
but
I really couldn't find a lot about him. His Instagram I did find, but it's just posts about General Hospital meet and
because
greets
he's been busy.
and pictures of his daughters. Like that's really all that
He
he's
doesn't have time to do anything else if he's doing 1,600 episodes of General Hospital.
yeah. So our synopsis of this episode, Rodney investigates a ZPM from a planet whose inhabitants kill themselves when they turn 25 to prevent the Wraith from feeding on them.
I really liked this episode.
I do too. I like this episode a lot. Um, So we start with the puddle jumper flying over a planet and discussing, oh, wow, the typos, sorry, the typos in that sentence. Discussing whether it is a planet that Taylor knows about. And then Rodney goes off on a diatribe about Samantha,
Yeah.
which will not, it is the first, but it will not be the
I was
last.
like, I was like, is this like start of something?
Rodney's obsessed with Sam.
Yes, obviously.
Um, when the jumper takes a hit from an energy disturbance, and so they start tracking it, and Rodney says that high energy like that means civilization, so they should go find it. But as they head toward the energy, they completely lose control of their jumper. And then we get the credits.
Yeah.
So the jumper crash lands, and they discuss trying to fix the jumper, but all of Rodney's equipment is also down. And Ford's compass is messed up too. And Rodney gets real fucking saucy about why would you bring a compass to a planet that's not Earth? Like, how would that even work? And he's like, I don't, it's
But
just
like,
a,
but also like compasses are magnetic poles. Like,
yeah.
could you
So
not use that in a different planet if they have magnetic poles too?
yes, but that would have to assume that they have the same type of magnetic poles that we do. Like,
I
you know
guess
what I
that's
mean?
fair. But
Yeah,
also, like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's a compass. Like, what does it matter
correct.
if you're in?
Correct.
Like,
Yeah. So they decide they have to try to find the gate on foot from memory of flying past it, which is they can't, but that's
well,
fine.
wild. That is a wild
Yeah.
solution.
Um, Rodney takes the compass and sees that it's doing something really, really crazy and weird, and so he figures that that must be the cause of the electromagnetic disturbance. That would be something that would mess up the compass and their computers. So he follows the disturbance via the compass, and they come to some ruins which potentially have the cause. And they want to find the source and shut it off and save the ship, but they are ambushed by children that are very reminiscent of the Lost Boys. Um, and the children are terrified because they are all adults. They call them full growns and say that they
Oh,
need to go take them to the elders.
oh no.
And so
Uh,
they get to this village and they find a wraith skeleton, and the kids tell them that the wraith ship fell from the sky, and so they keep the bones to remind them of what life used to be like. That's not ominous at all.
yeah.
Um, the team thinks that whatever knocked them out of the sky is also what knocked the race ship out, and so they want to find it because not only would it is it the only way to get the ship back on, having some kind of force that powerful would be real handy.
Yeah. Yep, yep.
Um, and so they go to talk to the elders, and they meet Karis, who is only 24,
Mhm.
and John is very confused that that is the elder of the village, and they're like, "So you're all older than 24?" And John's like, wait, Ford, how old are you? And he's like, 25. He goes, yep, guess we're all older than 24. Um, Fun fact, Rainbows on Franks was only 24 when they filmed that. So, yes,
Ooh, cheater.
that's, um, but so there's another one of the elders, and he doesn't like that. Kara, this is when we meet Ares. He does not want Karis to explain their stories. So it's like, they're strangers. We don't owe them anything. We're not telling them.
Yeah.
Um, But so Karis explains their history and says that they believe that when they die, they go to their eternal rest. They go basically to heaven. But their people believe that dying by the hands of the Wraith and dying in distress takes away their ability to enter that eternal rest. So on the eve of their 21st birthday, they commit a ritual suicide and prevent the Wraith from ever wanting to call them because they're all too young. Um, we know that that doesn't really make sense.
Mhm.
Because actually, the younger you are, probably the more likely the Wraith are to kill you because they suck your age out of you. So they're going to get a fat meal out of a kid more than
Yeah.
they would out of an 80-year-old. But that is their thing, and apparently it has worked so far.
And like at this point, like I figured there was a different solution just because like that's really tragic. But
Yeah.
like also I was like, I don't have a reason not to believe you. Like this is the
Right.
sixth what are we on
Well,
sixth episode? So I was like, that could be the reason based on this specific planet. Like
right. And like and there's something, and we'll talk more about it when we get to Weir and what she says to Rodney later, but like
mhm.
we find it to be weird and
Right.
tragic and uncomfortable. But like the whole point of the show and kind of what they try to do in a lot of the episodes, both in this and SG1, is that like we're meeting these other cultures. And sci-fi has a tendency to meet other cultures and then force Earth feelings on them. Um, and this show is very guilty of that. But there we do have characters like Taylor and like Weir who like to point out that like why? We don't, what if that is really what's saving them? Like we don't know. It sounds ridiculous to us, but it has worked up until this point. So either that is what's working or it's a placebo effect enough to keep them safe. Um, The team, of course, understands that the electromagnetic disturbance that knocked their ship out is the real reason that the Wraith aren't coming, but they don't really know how to tell the people that they're killing themselves for no reason because this is
And have
hundreds,
been for years.
right? Because this is like 500 years worth of trauma. Um, so Kara says that they can stay to fix their ship, but they need to do it fast because they are making everyone nervous because they think that the presence of people old enough to be useful to the Wraith make would make them come. So they go to the old city to look for the disturbance and to fix it, but their bodyguards, well, they split up. Ford and Rodney go to the city, Taylor and John stay in the village, but their bodyguards who accompany them to the city are these two kids who are annoying the shit out of Rodney.
I think I would have fallen somewhere between Rodney and Ford. Like, I don't think I would have been quite as aggressive as Rodney was, but I also would not have been nearly as chill as Ford was.
Oh God, no, I mean, I would have found a way to give them chocolate and keep them calm and be their friends, but man, Rodney was not that. Um, Back in the village, John and Karis are talking, and John asks him, is everyone really just like so willing to do this? Like, he's not, John doesn't agree with it, but he really truly is trying to understand their logic because it's one thing to tell somebody that, like, I don't agree with what you're doing. There could be another way. But if everyone is like, yes, this is correct, how do you convince them that they're wrong?
Yeah.
So he's like, and he said, yeah, everybody wants to. He goes, well, sometimes they're not as super into it, but we have ways to convince them that it's the right thing to do. And he was like, and not everyone loves it, but for the most part, like it really isn't an issue. Um, and John tries to explain why he thinks it's a bad idea and why he thinks it's not fair and everything. And Karis is like, well, tonight is my sacrifice. Like tonight is the last day of me being 24. So like there, as much as I would love to keep having this conversation with you, there's not enough time. I'm gonna die. Then see Aries, and we meet this girl Peleus, who is another one of the elders, and they are plotting behind Karis's back to kill the Atlantis team so that they don't draw the Wraith to the planet.
Do you know who she is? She also seemed familiar.
Um, I don't. I didn't look it up, but I can. Um, there she is clearly one of the other elders, and what she explains is that even though we find out throughout a bunch of these conversations that there are 12 different villages, and throughout and even though each like little village kind of has its own government, its own elders, they don't make any decisions without the can like especially like big life-changing decisions like that without the consent of all of the villages. And she's like, we
Yeah.
can't do that. And he goes, yeah, we can.
Aries
Yeah.
in true Aries fashion.
Yeah. Her name is Julie Patzwald, and she was, oh, I know why she looks familiar. She played Tessa in an episode of Dead Like Me.
Oh,
Season two,
she also
episode.
died really young.
She did.
That's so
Uh,
sad.
which episode is this? Season two, episode. Oh, that is an episode. It is the one where George goes to Trip's father's funeral.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Tessa was in that episode. But yes, she did unfortunately die very young.
Oh,
Um,
she committed suicide. That's so sad.
the one of the little girls, of the two little girls that were the bodyguards, grew up to do a lot of stuff. Um, she was in one of the leads in Heartland.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Um, but yeah. So Rodney yells at the kids, they cry, Ford cheers them up with chocolate.
Which is the correct mood.
Yeah. Rodney does find a weird cave with a ZPM powered machine in it, and Rodney disables the machine. All of the radios and everything go back on, and so he radios to John, says he figured out what caused their ship to break. He's gonna go fix the ship, but he wants to take the ZPM back to the lab to study. And John and Taylor are both really worried about what this could mean for the village, but John, still being a soldier and an American, does eventually cave to thinking that it would be helpful for them, for Rodney to take the device and test it. Um, and Taylor tells John that she thinks this is a terrible idea. And while they're fighting about whether this is a good idea or not, we see the Wraith skeleton bracelet start to emit a homing beacon.
Mhm.
Sorry, I take the most unhinged notes sometimes. My next note says Ares throws his dick on the table. Um,
Which
but
is a similar thing, I
um,
guess.
I mean, no, I mean metaphorically, that's what he
Right.
does. Like he pulls the I'm about to be the most elder of the elders. You need to get ready for your ritual ceremony. You're basically not in charge anymore, and tells Karis he needs to go get ready and give up on these people. Like he's already given them too much time. He's gonna miss his ceremony if he can't get it together. Um, So John fills Taylor in on what's going on, why Karis needs to go get ready, and she's worried. She really thinks that like this is all moving in a bad direction.
It is.
Yeah. Back at SGC, Weir's also incredibly upset that Rodney stole the ZPM, and Rodney is such a dick in this scene. This is like one of Rodney's worst moments because he really truly does not understand why anything he did was wrong.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, but like we need it so we can have it. And I told Dan that it's really funny that Rodney is the Canadian character because that feels like the wrong choice there.
Right, right.
Um, but and he's like, I don't like they're like he's like, why don't we just bring them here? Like take them to like we have the mainland, we have the whole like city, like there's no reason why we can't just take this and them. Like it's stupid. And Weir's like, maybe things aren't as unconnected as you think. Like,
Yeah,
you need to like actually know what you're talking about before you just like steal shit from innocent people.
sure.
Um,
Also, side note,
yeah.
um, she is also Natha in 100 Days Stargate SG1 episode.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've seen her recently, I guess, recently-ish, comparatively to like
Comparatively
John
to
Tucker Must
to
Die
yeah.
and Dead Like Me.
Yeah. But she was obviously not somebody we talked about when she
No,
was
no,
on.
no.
Um, So John tries to convince Karis not to kill himself and that there are better ways to handle this, and that if he just gives him one more day, he can prove to them like what's really going on. And he's like, what if you're wrong? Like, what happens if all of this is for nothing? And Karis says, yeah, but what if
Mm-hmm.
we're right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's such like an important thing, and especially like I think it's an important thing in like religion too. Like people can tell you all the reasons why you might be wrong, and that's fine. But wouldn't you rather not be wrong? Like, wouldn't you rather be convinced of something and be okay with being right? And like, sure. And like I tell people all the time, like believing in God, like it if I'm wrong, then nothing happens when I die. But if I'm right and I don't do it, that's way worse. Like, and so like
Right.
I just really like that moment. Um, so Roddy does test the ZPM. He finds that it's actually depleted too much to be helpful for Atlantis. It really isn't have enough power, but it it can keep doing what it's doing for like an indeterminate amount of time. Like, and so it actually is way better off on the planet that it was on, and so he just took it for no reason. But also we find out that the because of the power levels of it, the field that it can create for the electromagnetic stuff is not very large. It's basically only the size of the 12 villages. And so the suicide pact is actually a form of population control. If they
Yeah.
can never get older than 25, they can only ever have that one or two kids, and then the population cannot balloon. and move outside of the protective field. So the suicide pact, as much as we would want to think of another way around it, it actually is protecting them.
Right.
Like the electromagnetic thing is maybe what's stopping the Wraith from coming there, but without the suicide pact, they would move beyond the borders of safety.
Yeah.
Um, we go back to the village and Karis is doing his cleansing ceremony to get ready for his ritual, and John notices the bracelet and freaks out and sees it and tells Rodney that. And at this point, Rodney's back to the planet and he tells Rodney that he needs to get the field on immediately because the Wraith know that they're there. Um, and he tries, but it isn't working. He puts his EPM back in and it will not turn on.
Yep.
Um, in order to destroy the bracelet, John rips the Wraith's arm out and like starts freaking out on the bracelet. And Ares wants to punish him for breaking the shrine. And he's like really angry. And Karis is like, their ship is ready. Let me just take them out of the village. Let them get out of here. We can just be done with this. So they get to the old city and they get to the ZPM and they explain the truth fully to Karis. Um, However, while they're on their walk, Ares starts basically a rebellion with the people in the village and says that they need to go after them and kill them. Um, and uh, John is like, no, it's fine. You walk with us. We'll take you to our ship. Rodney is there waiting for us. Everything's ready to go. We'll leave. Um, so they go and they walk, leaving Rodney alone, hiding in the cave to fix his EPM. The little girls show back up and ask him for chocolate, and he gives it to them and says, "Only if you leave me alone." Um, as they approach the ship, and John is totally getting ready to like find a way to convince Ares that he's really leaving while also stalling for time for Rodney. A Wraith probe suddenly comes, and the villagers are like, "Yeah, about that. You can't leave because you are liars, and now you brought this to us." And Karis tries to help them explain the truth about the ZPM, and he won't listen. He's like, "Nope, we're gonna kill you." So some of Ares, they also realize that Rodney isn't in the ship. So some of Ares' boys go to find Rodney, and he hides the annoying kids with him in the cave to keep working on it. And another Wraith probe shows up, and he finally gets the shield turned back on, and the probe immediately dies. So the boys see this happen and realize that he's telling the truth. So they run back to Karis, and um, on the beach, Ares tells the team to fire and that he's done. But Karis jumps in front of John and takes an arrow to the chest. And just at that same moment, the boys come back and are like, "No, the device really does work. Like we saw it with our own eyes. Like this, they're not lying." And Ares kind of has a moment where he realized he jumped the gun a little bit and he runs away. But luckily
Whoops.
luckily the team gets the med kit out of the jumper and they do in fact save Karis. Um, Rodney also, since they are now no longer at threat for being there, Rodney goes back and does some more messing around with the device and is able to boost the shield to double the space that it currently is. So they agree to suspend the sacrifice killing. And the team agrees to come back every once in a while and help them like figure out their new society now that they don't have to die at 24. And that is the end of the episode.
But also, that doesn't help with population control.
Well, they now are able to move out to twice as much space.
For now. But then, like, what if their population keeps growing?
Well,
Like, it's not going to be overnight, but,
yeah.
eventually they're going to have to, like, figure out a new solution.
I mean, but eventually they also like are gonna run out of resources and all die anyway, like we are on
Hmm.
Earth.
True. Fair.
So,
Any day now.
yeah, so that's that. What are your thoughts?
Like I said, I really liked this episode. I liked the writing of it. I I know you said this was like a one-off, but normally I feel like those annoy me more. And it
Yeah.
didn't. Um, it did. Made me go back to being annoyed at Rodney again,
And
just like SG1 days.
yeah,
Um,
Rodney is a roller coaster.
yeah, but I
But
don't know, I really liked it.
there's also kind of an air like there's a lot of one-offs in this season just in the sense that we're building the world. Like we're in a totally different galaxy. We don't know any of
mhm,
these planets yet. We don't know who's out there. We have to do a lot of exploring. I do appreciate that the way they deal with the Wraith feels more consistent and carries through more than the way that they dealt with the
mhm.
Goa'uld in the first couple seasons of Stargate,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
even when we have these one-offs, they all are still connected to the fact that the Wraith are the big bad of this galaxy. Whereas sometimes literally the word Goa'uld was never mentioned, despite the fact that
Right.
they're supposedly all seeking on this gal in our galaxy. So there are a lot of one-offs, and like the next episode of Atlantis that we watch is another one where we meet a whole new society that we have not met yet, but it does still tie into the fact that like this is all one big puzzle.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, so I didn't feel as jarring that it wasn't
Yeah.
just what we did last week, which I do feel like SG1 a lot of times is a little more jarring when you get episodes.
Yeah.
I really loved Shepard in this episode. Um, it was kind of sad. Every time he was like, "But we can do it," I was like, "I'm sad because you're sad."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
um, even though like I didn't think we were gonna like in this episode in a full sacrifice or anything because it's not what the show is. We're not watching a
Right.
bar show, but it still made me sad. But yeah, overall, I really liked it.
Good. Ooh, do you want to punch in the face?
Aries, I mean, my God,
That's totally fine. I wasn't sure if you were gonna pick Aries or not. S- so I went with Rodney.
sure. Oh,
Because not even because of the way he treated the children, even though that was annoying. His
right,
conversation with Weir really just shows you how much Rodney has to grow as a person.
for sure, for sure.
Who is your MVP?
This one was a little bit harder, a split, but I think I'm gonna go with Karis
Okay.
because he is the elder, and while he was like, "This is how we've always done things. We have to keep our like people safe," he was so open to
Yeah,
discussing and to figuring it out. He was like, "I'm not gonna put him in harm by immediately being like, we're never doing this. Like, I'm gonna keep going with our rituals until we find a different solution."
yeah,
Um, and so I feel like he really like, especially being 24, really led them well as an elder.
I agree. I agree. Karis was my number one pick. I had a really, but I also didn't see you not picking him. So I had a hard time with my second, and I went back and forth, but I ended up going with Weir.
Okay.
Because she's not in this episode a lot. She's a very
Yeah.
small part, but everything that she says in this episode really is like the heart of why I feel like the show is different than SG1.
Hmm.
Because like that's not what we're here for.
Right.
So
Yeah, my second would have been Shepherd.
yeah, I went
So much.
I thought about him, but I just and he does the right thing a lot of the time, but he also doesn't necessarily
Get it?
get it. Like he has
Hmm.
moments where he's like, no, you know what, Rodney, you can take the ZPM. Like he has moments where his Veer is like, this is not okay. This is not who we are. This is not how we're gonna do things. If you're gonna be
Right.
here, you're gonna respect people, or we're not
And
gonna do.
I feel like this really showcased her like international relations
Yeah.
background.
Which again, like this SG1 really is about the US military and the way
Right.
the US military handles things. Stargate Atlantis, everyone on the team is from somewhere else. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, no, Ford and Shepard are both US military, but Rodney's from Canada. Zelenka's from Russia. Like Carson's
Yeah.
from uh Scotland. Like they're all, if you like look at their what it just and one time just watch if there we have a scene where they're in the gate room, there's a lot of personnel. Just watch because there are so many different country patches on their flags. Like I know I've seen South Africa, I know I've seen France. Like they really and they're not characters that talk really because but like they make a big deal to have like tons of different countries patches on on their uniforms to just show like how much this is not the same
Yeah.
situation and I really like it.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like that. So I'm very excited about Atlantis.
Yeah.
We really
So
like the writing. I know there's similar writers. Well, these are different writers.
this one, Martin Jarrow wrote this one, but like I said, he's been the
Okay,
story editor for a lot of this season
right.
so far. And then this is the first one that he has full writing credit for.
But I mean, we have different writers from SG1. Like,
Yes, some. I mean,
mm,
like I think the first episode, I think we started with Robert C. Cooper, like at the beginning,
right.
and like
Mhm.
just the introduction and everything. And actually, well, no, hold on. I think Robert C. Cooper is credited as creating. Yes. Robert C. Cooper, he did write a couple of these, but on top of the show being based on the concept by Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, as and always credited the same way they are for SG1, Brad Wright and Robert C. Cooper are always
Right.
credited as creating this show.
Mhm.
Because they created the characters for the spinoff.
Yeah, which
So,
makes sense.
yeah.
But yeah, so we're getting like different writing style, but it's
Yeah.
not like crazy different. It's just
No,
different.
it's enough to be like this is a different show, but not enough to
Yeah,
make you feel like it's not a connected universe.
right. So
Um,
I like this writing style might be a little elevated for me so far.
well, like I said, I love SG1 for the nostalgia of it, but this Atlantis has always been my favorite sci-fi show.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said on last week's episode, things are about to get a little wild. And our next episode of Sci-Fi Sunday, so this is for September 28th. If you're watching along with us, we are watching Stargate SG1 Season 8, Episode 8, not Episode 7. So we are watching 8 is Covenant. But the next episode of Atlantis that we're watching is Episode 7. So it's a little, so we're doing 8, 7, 7, 9.
Yep, we got that.
It'll be great. It'll be weird. No, I'm sorry. It'll be 8, 7, 7, 8 for Stargate Atlantis, and then 9, 9, 10, 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it gets weird. Don't worry. Come December, it's gonna get super weird because we're gonna have a bunch of like, or no, I'm sorry, come November, it's gonna get super weird because we're gonna have a bunch of like two Atlantises in a row or three Atlantises in a row to fuck with every
Voila.
just to fuck with everything. But yes, so for next week, please skip the next episode on your Amazon Stargate and jump to episode 8.
Love it.
But before that, we will have a wonderful episode of Thriller Thursday where we talk more about Coven because it is so great.
You have
Um,
no way of knowing that. You haven't watched it yet.
I have not watched it yet, but compared to the fact that we spent like 12 weeks talking about Clarice and the bad Hannibal movies, there's no way that it's bad.
Oh no, it's dope. It's okay. We're gonna have a fun time. Don't worry.
Um, if you want to talk to us about why we chose the wacky order of Stargate that we chose, or anything that we're watching with the Stargate universe or the American Horror Story universe, you can email us at deathandaliens@gmail.com or follow us on all of the social media at Death and Aliens. You can find me everywhere at EMKAY_superstar,
And you can find me at CE Cloud 13.
and we will see you on Thursday.
We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.